The broadcast is now starting. All attendees are in listen-only mode.
Hi, everyone, and welcome to our webinar today. My name is Tanya, and I'm the Marketing Manager over here at Structsoft Solutions, part of the Great Tech Group. Just for those of you who are new with us today, our star solution MWF, which stands for Metal Wood Framer, is our Revit-based BIM framing solution that allows users to automate Revit walls, floors, ceilings, and trusses in light gauge steel and also in wood. So with that said, we've been working hard the last couple of months, and we're happy to say that our summer build, which is version 2.38, build number 7892, is now live and is also compatible with Revit 2022. So today's webinar will be focusing on just that. Our technician, Thais, will do an in-depth walkthrough of some of the tools available within the new release. So some of these features include, for walls, new options in shop drawings for labeling sheathing, plate hole diameter option in wood, the ability to add BIMSF schedule label parameters to multi-layer secondary layers. In floors, this is options to regenerate marker lines, a new add edit lifting points command, adding blocking to sheathing edges, deleting generated by coordinates, belly band sheathing generation, and then also new parameters assigned to BIMSFDeckingSheet family. So just before we get going, I'd like to remind everyone at the end of the webinar, we'll be taking a couple of live questions. In order to be selected, just click on the hand icon. You can find that on the dashboard. Just please make sure that your mic is working correctly as well. If you'd prefer, you can also ask questions throughout the webinar in the questions tab of the GoToWebinar dashboard. You'll be able to type them in there. All right, that's it for me. I'm going to hand off to Thais now.
Thank you, Tanya. Hi, everyone. So as Tanya mentioned, today we're going to take a look at what's new in our latest build. So for this session, we're going to go over floors and walls. So I'm just going to jump in my plan view. And let me just select some walls here in my project. The first option that we're going to see is the ability to add the BIMSF schedule label parameter to the secondary layers of your multi-layer panel as well. Before, we were able to run member distribution and add that parameter to our structural members, but now we are actually able to add the same parameter to our sheathing, for example. So as you can see, I have here in my panel, I have selected one that I already ran in my, using the option here under outputs. So the add member distribution. So for this one, as you can see here in my properties, it's going to be showing my schedule label and it's going to be SH9. So let me just select one panel that I haven't run the tool yet. So maybe this guy. Yeah. Okay, so let's select this one. We have two options. You can either run this beforehand using the option under outputs, the one that I just showed you guys. It's going to be add member distribution, or you can just leave it to run the option that we have within the shop drawings if you are generating shop drawings. So it's going to work exactly the same as it used to work before, only for the structural layer. You're going to select which strategy you want to use, type A or type B, click OK. And after it's done, you're going to see that label here assigned to my BIMSF schedule label parameter. So this guy will be a structural member. So that's how we used to work before. And now if we just select the sheathing here, there you go. If we select a sheathing board, you're going to see that we also have the same label here as well. For the sheathing, the label will be unique. So each sheathing board of your panel will get a unique label. Okay, so this one is going to be S0, this one S3, this other guy will be S4, and so on. Okay, so this will allow the other option to work as well. We have now a specific option within the shop drawing settings to add labels for your sheathing. So if we come here to my settings, I've created a view, an elevation view only for my sheeting. So I'm gonna click on it. And if we go here to the labels tab, we have now this option to add label sheeting. So this one will add labels specifically to our sheeting boards. If we come here to view settings, labels, you're going to see that you have three methods that you can use. The first one will be by label, and it will work more or less like the options that we have for the structural members. The by label one will be looking at the BIMSF label parameter. The by distribution one will be looking at the tag mapping text file that we have in the installation folder. So it is exactly like for any other elements in your panel. This guy here, I'm gonna open up just so we can see where it is. So the tag mapping will be here in the installation folder. We're gonna look at Strucsoft solutions. Your Revit year, I'm using 2022. Commands, 2022. MWF config, and then we're gonna search for our tag mapping. There it is. So this is what it will be following. Just as a refresher here, just to recap, this letter will be the label that you will be seeing once you generate shop drawings. And this is the tag the member that is referring to. So for example, my SV, all of my SVs will get a C letter and then the automatic number that will get generated once I run shop drawings. So you just have to search out for the sheeting here in the list, and you can change the letters that are referring to if you want. So sheeting panel, it will be this guy. Right now, it's going to be SH. So if you are using this option, the by distribution option, it's going to be looking at this label here. So if you want to change to something else, maybe just S, for example, you can do that here, save the file. And once it is saved, it will look at your custom tag mapping instead of the default one. So that will be the by distribution option. And then the third one is by schedule label. So that guy will use the parameter that we just ran in the wall. So as long as you have this label generated here, it will get that information and assign to your sheet view, elevation view. Okay, so it's going to be up to you again to decide. I would say that now that we can label automatically the sheeting, it would be a good idea to just generate a specific view for that instead of adding both sheeting and structural members in the same view. The only reason why is because the labels will be probably overlapping each other. You will get a lot of information if you don't separate the views. So that's why I just created one for my sheeting, so we can see only the sheeting information. As I mentioned before, the other option is to run member distribution using that option here within shop drawings. So if you are generating drawings, you can skip that step of running member distribution here under outputs, and you can just turn this option on in the miscellaneous settings, and this will automatically run the command for you to get the BIMSF schedule labels in your members, and it will automatically assign them in your view. Okay, so I'm just gonna click OK here. Before I generate the drawings, just so you know where this is located, this letter here, the SH here for the schedule label, will be looking at a different location than the tag mapping. Okay, so this will be controlled by your settings in the sheeting. So if we come here to settings, we're gonna go to my sheeting templates. I'm using this one. It's a gypsum template. And it is looking at this label prefix here. So whatever you type in here, so let's say if it's just S again, if I save this to my template and I generate my panels with that information, once I run my distribution label, I would get the S and then the number. Okay, so the SH is looking at this information here that we have in the settings of your sheeting template. Okay, perfect. So let's just select a panel here and create shop drawings, just so we can see what it looks like. Click OK. So for this example, I added the sheeting elevation view, and I also added a schedule. So you can still, again, of course, use this information in your schedules. You can create one only for sheathing. Let's look at this panel. So it's 198. And there it is. It would look something like that. You would see the sheeting boards with the label here. Here at the side, I added the sheeting list. So as you can see, for the sheeting, the labeling will be unique. So each board will get a different label. And that would be the main option that we have for our walls portion. We also have another one, which is specifically for wood. So I'm just going to drag this a little bit so we can see here I have a wood panel. And for this wood panel, we have an option for the lifting clips, lifting hose command. So now we have the ability to choose the size, the diameter of the holes that it gets punched here, the top plate. So if you come here to properties, miscellaneous tab, and then we're gonna search for our lifting holes. There it is. Let's set this up to style A and click on edit. So this new option will be here in the wood plate supported option. So it's the first one here in the list. I'm gonna set both ends to be the same. And here's where you can control the plate hole diameter. So before it was something that you couldn't change. I think it was just 1 inch, if I'm not mistaken. So you can set this up to whatever size you wish. So let's put it to 2. Click OK and OK. And everything else will be the same. You have your clips, and then you're going to get your punches here. Okay, so those are the options for walls. Now we're going to jump in the new options for floors. So I'm just going to change here my menu to my floors menu. And the first option we're going to see is to add blocking to the sheeting. So I'm going to go ahead and come here to my properties, and I'm going to add some sheeting here to my panel. Sheathing. So I'm going to enable sheathing here for my top portion of my panel. And as you can see, we have this option here that is new, the blocking option. I'm going to enable that option. You can change the family here, so you can specify which family you want to use. The rotation, you can also specify it as well. It could be by default, or you can rotate it 90 degrees. And this will just add, let me rotate 90 degrees. That will just add blocking at the center of your sheeting for now. It is still a work in progress. So the intention with this tool is for us to add blocking at the edges of the sheeting. Right now it's adding at the center, but probably in the next build, we will work on moving that to the edges of the sheeting. So it will work more or less like a reinforcement. So let me just add some transparency here. Okay. So as you can see, it would add these blockings at the center. As you can see, my sheeting board is here. So the blocking is coming here through the center. And after, we will move this to be at the edge here of the sheeting board. So every time we have a splice here at the sheeting board, you would get the blocking. Another cool thing that it's good to know is that we now have some parameters that get automatically generated once you add sheathing to your floor panel. So you're going to see here in under my properties, I'm going to have the BIMSF sheet height, thickness, and width. So these guys, you can use them in your shop drawings or maybe in a schedule. They will be controlled by, let me go back here, by the settings that you put in the sheeting. So it will be here. It's going to be your dimensions, basically, the width, the length, and the thickness. And you're going to get generated here on the side automatically your instance parameters. Okay, the other option that we have is to add belly band sheathing. So this will add some sheathing boards to the side, to the edges here of your panel. As you can see here, we have the option to control the length, the maximum length and the minimum length of that sheathing board. You can also add a gap. This would add a small offset in between the boards. You can also change the prefix and the family here. So here at the bottom, you're gonna see that you have this nice preview. You're gonna basically just select and enable the sides of your panel where you want to add that belly band. So this portion here at the top will refer the top of your panel, and then you have right, bottom, and then left. So let's say, for example, if I enable bottom and right side, for example, I'm going to be adding only at the bottom here and at my right side of my panel. This will follow the panel direction, okay? So depending on how your panel is oriented in your project, this may vary. Right now it's by default here, so my bottom is actually my bottom and my right is actually my right. You're gonna see in the preview that you have the start and end offsets. So this will be controlled here, start and end offsets. And you're gonna have the settings for each side that you enabled the belly band. If you don't assign any offsets, it's just going to go all the way to the corner. And then we also have the top and bottom offsets. So this will follow the preview that we see here at the top. We're looking at a section view, and this will be the top of my panel, this will be the bottom. So depending on the offset that you put in, you may control the height here of your belly band. So let's say for my right portion, I'm gonna add a top offset just so we can see what it looks like. I'm gonna add 3. Here at the bottom, I'm gonna leave it as it is. And I'm gonna click OK and OK. Okay, so let's give it a minute. Okay, perfect. So as you can see here, let me just hide this. As you can see, it generates here to the side of my panel. So let me just, again, add a little transparency here. So as you can see, I have here my sheathing and the edge on the edge of my panel. This one, it was added with no top and bottom offset, so it's going all the way, covering throughout my my whole panel. And if we look here at the right side, we're gonna see that because I added that 3 inches offset, my sheathing is stopping before my edge here of my panel, the top portion of my panel. And as you can see, it's going to always follow my settings. So the total length here of my board will follow my settings. And the gap option will be showing up in between the boards. So because I didn't add anything, as you can see here, I don't have any offsets, any gaps between the boards. Okay, so let me just show this in a plan view. So as you can see, it is at the edges here, at the perimeter of my panel. And let's say in this left side, I didn't add anything, so that's why I don't have anything here. And also in the other side, we won't have the belly band as well. Okay, so now I'm going to go inside my properties. And I'm just going to disable my sheathing just so we can see a little bit better. For our next options, we're going to add some marker lines. So let me just disable the sheathing. Let me disable this guy as well. So in case you want to disable, you just have to come here in the settings and just disable the settings. Once you regenerate the panel, they will be gone. Okay, so now we are going to create some marker lines to see our next option, which is regenerating the marker lines option. So I've created some settings here to add blocking to my panel. So I have this setting here that it was previously created. I have a staggered offset for this one of 4 inches. So I'm gonna go ahead and create my marker lines. Okay, so I'm going to use the regular spacing option. Let's just space them at 6 feet, for example, first offset as well. And I'm just going to add my settings here, add my bridging type. Okay, so I'm going to regenerate my panel. Okay, perfect. So now we have the blocking here, as you can see, and I'm going to come here again. So let's say we already created our settings here. We've regenerated the panel so we can see here our blocking. And now I need to change something in my blocking settings. So I'm gonna come again here to my project bridging types. And let's say I need to change, for example, the staggered offset. So I'm gonna make this less, a smaller offset. So 2 inches, for example. And now this is where the new option will come in. It would be the regenerate marker lines option here under tools. So this guy will just regenerate your marker lines. So you don't have to delete any marker lines and create again. In case you have any changes in your settings, you can just regenerate the marker lines only. Okay, so as you can see, it just regenerates and it pushes the changes that I did for my settings in the existing marker line that I have here in my panel. Next option will be the lifting points command. It's going to be here under tools as well. It's going to be this guy, add edit lifting points. So this will add just a generic model where your lifting points would be, and it also generates the center of gravity of your panel. So you're gonna have the option to add a minimum edge distance and also a clearance distance here. This is in between the lifting points. So let's say 6. You also have the option to say if you want 2 lifting points or 1. And the hole diameter. So let's put this to 2 just so we can see a little bit better. You also have the option here when calculating the center of gravity to search for non-panel elements. So this will search for any other elements that are intersecting with your floor other than the main structural members. And this is just a placement pattern. Quarters will be a little bit more towards the edge of your panel, and thirds points will be more towards the center. But basically, if I just click OK here, you would see these generic models being generated. So this will be where the lifting points will be located. And we will also see the center of gravity. So if I hide this, it will be this generic model here as well, this marker that gets automatically generated, calculating the total weight of your panel. Again, just remember to make sure to have weight in your members other than that, it will just calculate as long as you have weight, just like the wall option. And then last one is the option to delete a generated member by coordinates. So this option will save within the edits that you do the coordinates of a previously deleted member. So let's say if I select this joist here and I come here to edits, instead of deleting generated with this one, I'm going to use this guy here, delete generated by coordinates. Okay, perfect. So my member, it's not there anymore. So if we come here to properties, it's going to be showing up in the edits tab which member I've deleted and also its coordinates. So if I come here to edits, you're gonna see that I have the label of that member that got deleted and also its coordinates. Okay, so that's just an option, an easy way for you to know. Of course, that deleting just one may not be something that makes sense for you to know the coordinates, but let's say if you have other ones, you will be able to know exactly its location before. And if you delete it from the list, it will just show up again in your panel. So this is basically it. Those are our new options. So I think we can just go back to Tanya now, see if we have any questions.
Perfect. Thank you, Thais. So as she just mentioned, we have a couple minutes. We'd like to open the floor to you guys. So if you'd like to pose a question live, please go ahead and raise your hand now by clicking on the hand icon in the control panel. Just please also make sure that your audio is working correctly. And just while we wait for any potential questions to come through, I'd just like to remind everyone that the recording of the presentation will be sent through tomorrow. As always, please feel free to share the recording with any colleagues, as well as if you're looking for the recording a little earlier, you can typically find it across our social media channels at the end of the day. All right, I'll just give it a couple of seconds, see if there's any questions. All right, well, that looks like it's a wrap for today. If there are any questions after we have closed the session, please feel free to get in touch with us. Our contact details as well as the recording will be provided tomorrow. As well as if you'd like to set up a 101 demonstration or would like an in-depth review of some of the new features, we'll be happy to set that up for you. All right, so just want to let everyone know again, the new build is available for download now, and it is compatible with Revit 2022. All right, we'll now be ending the webinar. Just want to say a big thank you to Thais and also thank you to everyone who tuned in today. Have a great day.
Thank you, Tanya. Have a nice day, everyone.